Hello, welcome to Thursday Tidbits, episode number 3. I'm going to talk a little bit today about an accompaniment pattern for fast tempo or up tempo songs. So just some basic patterns that you can use to spice up your accompaniment pattern. So we'll kind of start at the ground level and work our way through some different variations, some different options of what you can do within that. So we're going to be playing, I'll kind of use as my example, I'm going to stay in the key of C for most of the time, and just going to kind of give you some options on what you can do with, to add some variety, to add some, I guess, just some variety to your accompaniment patterns for fast tempo songs. So let me turn this around here and kind of show you where I'm going to start. The left hand is going to stay pretty much the same all the way through this. So I'm in the key of C, and all I'm going to be doing for most of the time in my left hand, if I'm playing a C chord, is I'm just going to be going back and forth between my C and my G. So middle C is up here, I'm going to be down an octave, just back and forth between C and G. So if we're in 4/4, we'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just back and forth. Not something super exciting. The fun stuff is when you add in the right hand, but that's where we're going to be starting. So in the right hand, what can we do? In the right hand with fast tempo songs, traditionally you will play the actual beats with the left hand, as you just saw, 1, 2, 3, 4. With the right hand, you'll play on the offbeats, or on the ands, you might say. So if I'm doing a C chord, what I'll do is I can just do a root position C chord here on middle C, and so I'll play on the ands, so in between the numbers. So it would be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's how you'll do that traditional pattern. So if I'm just doing, let me get this piano opened up here so I can turn this around and play with both hands for you. But if I'm doing just that pattern, root position, it would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So throughout the course of the video here, we'll use the song "I'll Fly Away" as an example. That's a fast tempo song. So if we were going to play that in the key of C, I'll just do a little intro and then I'll go into the first couple lines or so of that. Now to the F chord. So very simple, very straightforward. I'm just going back and forth between the left hand and the right hand, playing the beats with the left, playing the off beats with the right hand. All right, so that's the starting point. From there, like I said, I want to go through some different progressions. So the very first thing you can do, just to make things sound a little better, is to move from root position in your right hand and to actually invert that down to second inversion. So instead of playing my G on top, I'm going to play the G on the bottom and the E on top. So I'm going to do this. And basically what that does is two things. It moves my right hand a little closer to my left hand, so I don't have this awkward spacing of my left hand here and my right hand all the way up here. That gives this whole region of the piano right here, which is basically empty and not being used at all. And just so happens to be like the most rich section of the piano to play chords in, and you're basically cutting all of that out by playing root position. So if I move it down here, that just moves it into a nicer, warmer register. So that's one reason. The other reason I like to do that is because that then puts the E on the top, which to me sounds more melodic than putting the G on the top. Even though I'm just playing accompaniment, I'm not actually playing the melody. You still want your accompaniment to sound somewhat melodic in nature. You want it to sound like it has some movement to it, and we could go into a lot of the technical reasons why, but suffice it for now to say that the E gives you a lot more possibility for melodic movement than the G on top. So Short answer, it sounds better that way. So you can do it how you want to do it. I like to play it in second inversion. All right, so if I do that, here's what it would sound like with I'll Fly Away. So hear that E on top. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, when I go to that F chord in the middle there, at that time I was just doing second inversion. But what I'll actually do is when I start on this second inversion C chord, then that's just for my first chord. Any chord I move to after that, I try to follow the rule of thumb that I just move to whatever inversion is closest. So what I just did is I just did second inversion because that's what I told you. But what I'll actually do in the song is if I'm moving from a C to an F chord, then in my right hand I'll just do this, since that's a lot closer than going all the way down here or up here. So I'll move from C to F. So again, in the context of a song, I'm playing a C chord, I'm moving to F. You can hear that's a lot. It's a lot smoother that way. So that's what I'll do for that. Those are the kind of inversions I like to use in my right hand. Now, beyond that, what are some other things that we can add to the right hand? So we're already in this second inversion here with the E on top. Something you can add just to give a little bit of color to that C chord is to make it a C6 chord by adding in the A right here. And you can do that with all your chords. So let me do that again in the context of a song. So see, it just got a little bit more something to it. So that's the sixth chord. Adding the sixth into it, it gives it to me, just a bit of a tastier sound, so I like to use that. And we are now at the place where we can start adding some rhythmic variations beyond just dun 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 dun. If we want it to be a little bit more exciting than that, we can add some variations to the rhythm. So what I'll do with that is if I'm using that sixth chord, I might play my first offbeat like this, and then on the second one I might do this rocking pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I add that in with the left hand, it sounds something like this. So you can see that already we're getting to some more interesting sounding rhythms and sounds in our chords. And all we did to do that was just take the sixth chord, and on every other instance of that in the right hand, we rock that and do a 16th note pattern. All right. Now there's a few other variations that I like to use of the right hand pattern, going back to root position here, there are actually some other options that you can do back in root position to make things interesting. And so one of those is to alternate between whatever chord you're on and the 4 of that chord. So for instance, if I'm playing a C chord, I can alternate between that and an F chord. And I'll do the same thing. I'll do that every other time. So I'll play 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. When I play that with both hands, it sounds like this. So 1. So that's the pattern. And again, we're just alternating between this broken F chord and C. All right, and you can do that with any chord. And, if you're in E flat, you can alternate between E flat and A flat. So it works in whatever key that you're in. So that's one, to alternate with the 4. You can take, instead of taking the 4, you can do the 2 minor instead. So here's my 4, F, that I was using, alternate. Instead, occasionally I'll do the 2 minor, which is very similar, only instead of doing the C down here, I've now got a D. So it'll sound like you can actually take this pattern. Well, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So for right now, there's the D minor. So play that with both hands, with both hands, and just a little bit of a different variation of what we just did. And then my favorite is to you've got your root position C chord, and then you go up on your alternating chord, you go up to an A, and then you add an E flat, your flat third, and then you alternate between those two. So again, if I'm doing that with both hands, that will sound like this. So again, it's kind of got that jazzy, fun sound to it. I like to use that. All right, so with those three patterns that I just showed you, the 4 chord, the 2 minor chord, and the flat 3, 6, whatever you want to call this, with those three, instead of just staying in one position, you can actually walk those up or down the piano, which adds a lot of variety to your piece. So, sorry, I'm trying to play this while holding the phone in the other hand, but or you can do that with the F chord. You can do it with your D minor, just inverting your other chord down the piano and then breaking up that chord with that pattern. So if I play that with both hands, it'll sound a little bit like this. You can carry on, and you can go back and forth, mix and match, and use whatever of those variations you want to use. You can go up and down the keyboard. So that's where I like to use my right hand. I'll just use different variations of that. And then in my left hand, as I already showed you, we basically all we're doing is we're just doing the 1 and the 5 back and forth. And then we move to another chord, like an F chord. And back to our 1, our 5, whatever chord you happen to be in, just going back and forth between the 1 and the 5. But to add some variety to that, you can do some movements, some runs in the left hand as well. So for instance, if I'm doing 1 chord, do that for a while, then I go to the F chord. I might use a run like that to get back to my C. Again, I'm trying to do this with one hand. I'm my own videographer here. Something like that, just running back to my C. Hopefully it will sound a little bit better when I try it with both hands here. So if I combine all of that together, some of the left hand creativity and those different patterns in my right hand, here's what it might sound like if I play I'll Fly Away, just a basic accompaniment pattern. That's the basic. There were some variations, some colorful things, and some variations that I threw in there, but most of that was based off of the things that I just showed you. Some variety in the left hand, and then some of those differing patterns in the right hand. So hopefully that was a help to you. Just something different today, rather than just reharmonization. Give you some things you can use on fast tempo songs to spice up your accompaniment a little bit. Going to close today, as usual, with a reharmonization, verse and chorus of a song. And I'm going to try to do this. It's been a while since I played this one. I'm trying to refresh my memory on it a minute ago. But I'm going to play one of my favorite hymns called He Giveth More Grace. may not be familiar with that one. And I like to play that in a key of E, which is 4 sharps. And I know all of you pianists out there are thinking that I'm from another planet or something, because most pianists do not like sharp keys. But E and A, the sharp keys, are so pretty. So if you can get past the natural aversion that most pianists have to playing those keys and actually get comfortable in them, they sound so pretty. So here is a verse and chorus of He Giveth More Grace.